This is just the start.
Thank everyone for listening to our podcast.
And thank you, Mr. Lee, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
Yes.
should we start
We're
with
so
our
happy
theme
to be
song?
here. Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
The Three Psychos!
I would love to. Okay, so can we just have like a brief introduction? Like, where are you from? And what's your name? What's your occupation? Just like a little background.
Great, for sure. Would love to introduce myself. I also would love at some point for you to introduce yourselves and to hear kind of what our overarching goals are. I'm Mr. Lee. My first name is Noah. I'm from Los Angeles. I'm a teacher at SAR High School.
Mhm.
I wear many hats here. I'm very proud of the hats that I wear. I teach chemistry,
Ooh.
and I am the track and cross country coach. SAR has, in the past 2 years, won 3 league championships. It's very exciting.
Wow.
Very proud of our
You've changed
SAR
them.
track and cross country runners. I'm also in social work school. Perhaps that's one of the reasons that I'm featured on the Three Psychos podcast. Thrilled to be here. And I also teach laning, low-key. I have a few bar mitzvah students that I
High-key.
teach. Living in Crown Heights, originally from Los Angeles, as I mentioned. I went to Emory University. Been living in New York for the past 3 years or so. And I'm in my first year, so I have 2 more years left of my MSW. And then hopefully like 3 years after that, I'll get a clinical license and open up a practice one day.
Wow.
So that's the goal.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, so tell us more, like, as you were growing up, like, what was it like living in Los Angeles?
Sweet. I'm very blessed that throughout my life, I've had meaningful friendships. It seems like the three of you also have some sort of,
Of course.
it's a blessing, like a skill, or it's not even a skill, it's just like something that I'm grateful to have received from whatever forces gave it to me. I have had a lot of meaningful friendships throughout my life, from the time that I was very young. So I have like sweet memories of Shabbat afternoons, walking like 2 miles to my friend's house, and we would play football in the streets and basketball and board games, and those are friends that I'm still very close with. I went to a school called Pressman Academy, which gave me a great foundation for like a love of Yiddishkeit and I don't know, just the basic knowledge that I needed to navigate through the world. Shout out to Pressman.
Woo!
And then I went to a school called Beverly Hills High School. I ran track and cross country there. I was very involved in student government and a youth group called USY, which is no longer so relevant. And I was like a busy kid. Thank God I had a lot of friends, a lot of activities. Yeah.
What would you
Busy.
say? What would you say is like a value or a lesson that you learned from your childhood that you've carried with you?
Whoa. I think from my parents. So especially from my father. My father's family is very tight-knit. My dad was born and raised in South Africa, has 3 siblings, 2 of whom live in Los Angeles, and they had kids, and we kind of all, every summer would like go to the beach together, and Thanksgivings together, and Rosh Hashanah and Pesach Seders together. So emphasis on the importance of family. I feel like there were kind of some like micro comments, like anytime that someone that we knew would have like if they would be alienated from their family, or like disagreements between parents and children or amongst children, like anytime that there's intrafamilial conflict, my dad says something along the lines of, that'll never be you guys. I really hope that you never kind of get to that point of stopping to talk to each other because of money or whatever reason. So value of family, from my mom and from my mom's side, I think that like my mom is a very devoted friend, and is an example of like going out of her way to make sure that her friends are okay and taking care of her friends and her friends taking care of her, and I admire that about her. I'm thinking also about my maternal grandparents and some like maybe or like surface level or like trivial values, but that really like deeply shaped me as a person is like my grandmother would take me every year to the Pantages Theater. We would watch some Broadway shows. So like a love of the arts. My grandfather would take me to UCLA sports games, so a love of sports. And I'm just grateful for all of those sweet memories. So yeah, love of family, love of friends.
Wow.
What was your favorite show? Just a little.
Oh, favorite show. I feel like most distinctive show was Wicked for sure.
Ooh.
Classic.
But my grandmother also took me to see The Lion King multiple times. Also, when I was like 10 years old, I must have been the youngest kid in the theater at Chicago. That was a fun one. Recently, I just saw Chess a couple weeks ago. That was
Ooh.
incredible.
good,
Leah
yeah.
Michelle, so
She's
talented.
so good. Glee.
You know
Yeah.
she can't read.
What?
Yeah, she can't read. Like she has someone read her all of her lines.
Are you
You're
serious?
joking.
Yeah, that's the word on the
You
street.
Word
just
on the
never
street?
learn?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I don't know if we should believe that here.
Oh.
We should ask. We should ask.
It
We
does
get
seem
into
kind of
Michelle.
Okay, wait. So you have these like really good values from your family. Did those values inspire you to become like go into social work?
Mm.
Or like why do you want to go into that?
Okay, so interestingly, my mom is trained as a social worker. She doesn't really use her social work license. She doesn't practice right now. But wow, yeah, thinking about like all of the role models that I had as a kid. My grandmother was like my father's mother, an extremely loving, like just effervescent, like full of life figure. And I think that unconditional love was beautiful, and like I miss my granny. I think about her a lot as like a model of like just like giving love.
I'm really gonna cry.
And then in terms of like how my dad's like individual family members led their lives, two of his sisters are educators. His brother is kind of like a businessman, but also an Israel advocate. So
Wait, this is so sad.
no, it's okay. We can be sad. We can
Be sad
feel all of
together.
the feelings.
Oh, sorry.
Do we want to
Continue.
talk about like what is going on? What's causing us to laugh or to feel this way? Are we feeling
I think
feeling
we should.
okay?
I think yeah, like a lot of times in serious moments, people laugh.
Yeah, when my
that's
grandpa
so
died, I
true.
started
It's
laughing.
really bad.
No, it's
like
true.
a big
That's
issue.
It's not
bad.
bad. It's not bad.
Whenever
it's
I hear
perfectly
something
normal.
like remotely sad, I just start laughing.
The response.
From a psychology perspective, like what would you say? Why do you think people, laugh when
Laugh.
something serious happens?
Brilliant question. I think that often we will do whatever is necessary to avoid uncomfortable feelings.
Like,
Like, right, whatever. Someone's talking about their dead grandmother, and it's like, oh, I can't deal. So I'm like, my body's just gonna produce a response, which is laughter, because it's hard for me to sit with the feelings that come up when we like think about the death of our loved ones. For
Right.
sure,
Yeah.
it's just uncomfortable, and so we're gonna do whatever we can to avoid the discomfort. And you know what? We should have grace on ourselves when we do.
right.
It's totally fine.
It's okay, honey.
It's
really
It's
okay.
something that like once you see someone else laughing, then that also triggers.
100%.
Ricochet effect.
I think there's also like nerves. Probably this is our first
Yeah, I'm sure.
First
recording.
episode,
The
right.
Three Psychos is the first meeting of the Three
We have that name for a
Psychos.
reason.
So no, we're crushing it.
Crushing it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are.
Okay, should we keep moving?
Yeah. What did you major in college?
I majored in chemistry and philosophy / religion.
That's a good mix.
Ooh,
That's
how
a
did you
really good
decide
mix.
to go into
mix.
that?
It was a sweet mix. So my dad's a doctor, and I think that as the oldest child, there was kind of this expectation or hope that I would become a doctor. I was curious about Emory's neuroscience program. I still am curious about neuroscience in general. Quickly discovered that the way that those classes are structured, and I think that the way that, pre-medical classes are structured, like reward rote memorization and are kind of built on just reductionist multiple choice questions and like who can memorize the most information, and that wasn't a very fulfilling or meaningful way of learning for me.
Yeah.
And I was kind of turned off by that style of learning, and at the same time I had this multiple incredible chemistry professors, and what I loved about my chemistry classes is that the exams were mostly blank pieces of paper that I got to fill creatively with pictures of molecules. And it was just kind of this language that really resonated with me. So while I was experiencing this quote unquote crisis of, oh gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna become a doctor, I'm not gonna major in neuroscience, I literally would get home and just practice mechanisms and like draw molecules because I loved it so much, and found a lot of inspiration there. Throughout my time at Emory, I would like, what would we call it? I would basically TA a class. I would be like a learning specialist for a professor, and found a lot of meaning in sharing the language of chemistry with my peers. And that kind of like set the foundation for me continuing to then tutor after college and then come here to teach. I also majored in philosophy. I took a gap year. I was on a program called Natif, but I took this class at Hebrew University for a semester that Professor Alec Isaacs, he's not going to be listening to this, but I still think about him. And yeah, that class just, whoa, it kind of rocked my world. I was like, we were learning the language of a man by the name of Martin Heidegger, who's a famous German philosopher. And he is infamous because after he died, they discovered journals in which he professed like Nazi ideas. Okay, so he's this like massive Western philosopher who was a Nazi, and we dissected his very complicated language, which is called ontology, which is the philosophy of being. And the argument that my professor made is that Heidegger's ontology is evil and is the antithesis of Jewish collective, like how to be authentic in the Jewish tradition is the recognition that we are all connected. How to be authentic in Heidegger's idea is the recognition that we die alone, pretty much. And so like seeing Heidegger as like a counter to the way that we ought to live authentically as Jews. So that really inspired me to continue learning more philosophy, and I found a lot of meaning in my classes at Emory too, thank God.
So you talk about like this crisis you had, like what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to like us or like high school students or college students that are also going through that crisis?
I love that question. It took me a really long time to discover, and it's something that I think my students are still grappling with, still, constantly, is this like fear. We live with so much fear and anxiety. Am I gonna be okay? Like, is what I'm doing enough to get me into a good school? When I get into that school, am I gonna have a good enough GPA to get me a good job? Like, there's kind of this like deficit mindset, like I'm not doing enough, and like I'm competing with all of these other talented people in the world, and like college admissions is so low, and there's all this like stress and like lack, and it's hard to pause and like, first of all, to sit with the discomfort is really challenging, and then second of all, to like recognize that each of us is like innately gifted and talented and like majestic and beautiful. The fact that we're like living and breathing creatures like Dayenu, that would be enough, but we're also like cool people. Like I'm also blessed to like feel love for myself, and I hope that each of my students can like tap into that part of themselves that feels love for themselves And the short of the answer to that question is that I'm okay, and that I'm going to be okay, and that the universe has my back. Like whatever is gonna happen is meant to be, and so therefore I shouldn't worry so much.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
When did you start teaching?
2 years ago. So this is we're in April, so September of 2024. Is that right?
So 10 years from now, like, where do you see yourself?
Oh,
do
10
you wanna
years
be?
from now.
Like friends, family, career.
Yeah, I would
10 years.
love the the first thing that comes to mind is I would love to have a chicken coop.
Whoa.
I want to
Interesting.
have land. I want to have chickens. I want to like homestead and plant my own vegetables and eat fruit from my trees.
No pesticides.
No pesticides. Yeah, I wanna. Oh, this is also kind of material, but I want to have a home gym one day. I want to have a sauna one day. All of these kind of desires are material, which is interesting. That is kind of the first thing that's coming up. I would love to have like a ski house one day, or like a property in Europe, maybe somewhere that I can like bop in and out of to go skiing. But really, the non-material answer, which is like, how do I want to be spending my time, is that I want to be my own boss, and I want to spend my time having one-on-one conversations with people as their clinician, as a therapist. And there are obviously like drawbacks of having your own practice and running a business, but ultimately I think that the autonomy, both the autonomy over my time and the meaning that I'm like hoping to get from that time, will set me up to have a sweet life ahead in 10 years, please God. Imyurtza Hashem.
Hashem.
I have it's a little unrelated connected to the
Yeah,
chicken.
great.
So let's say you were locked in a room.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the room is not locked.
Okay.
You can leave whenever you want.
Cool.
It's just like, what would you do in the
This is
room
my
if you
favorite
were
question.
in a circular room with a chicken and a hammer?
Oh,
Can I
a
have
chicken
one
and a
more thing?
hammer? Yeah,
We
please.
also have a stamp.
A stamp.
Interesting.
Is
I
it
like
some
that
sort of
addition.
riddle?
No, it's just
Not
what
at
would
all.
you do?
What would you do?
What would you do with a chicken and a
leave
stamp?
whenever
You can
you want.
leave, right. Does the stamp have what's the design on the stamp? Do I get to imagine the design? Is that even relevant?
I feel like you can imagine it.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm picturing an OU symbol. I don't know why.
that's great.
That's what's coming to mind.
It's a kosher chicken.
Like, why would I not stamp the chicken?
Oh, that's good.
Why would I not stamp the chicken? I think that also I would like anytime I'm like hanging out with I don't know why like baby and pet kind of come to mind. Anytime I'm hanging out with like a creature that I can't like communicate in complicated language with, I just like want to spend time with it. And so I'm thinking like with the chicken that I kind of just want to like hang out with it, feel its energy, you know, like look at
Give it a fun
it,
name.
give it a fun name, you know, like play with it a little bit, maybe stamp it at some point. And then once I feel like I've connected adequately with the chicken, then I can dip and do what else I need to do. I don't know. But first to like just sit and be present with the chicken, I guess, and to
I
stamp it.
honestly think I would be terrified and I would run away.
No, you'd run away.
Same.
I feel like if I were to try to stamp a chicken, it would like.
Yeah, but if
Not
you
go
like hang
well.
out, if you like get to know it first and have it build some trust
Would you
with
eat the chicken after?
With the hammer?
I
would you
mean,
eat
it has an OU stamp.
I don't really have violent aspirations or tendencies. Like
Oh.
I also don't. There was no heating accoutrements available. I don't have a
True.
way to cook the
I
chicken.
mean, you could
Who's
take it
eating
with
raw
you.
chicken?
Right, just leave
you
the
could
hammer
cook
in
it after.
on the side, right? Because there's no corners.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, genius.
Oh yeah. I do think sometimes about like what I don't really eat a lot of meat. I don't eat meat.
Same.
Okay, I'll eat fish. kind of somewhat regularly, but I don't eat meat. And I think that one day I would like to eat my chickens. That like, but the reason being that I have witnessed their happy and fulfilled lives as chickens, and like give them like free reign of my property, and the knowledge that those chickens have lived happy lives gives me some sort of comfort that like, okay, I don't feel guilty eating them. But if you buy chicken from the store, there's no way that that chicken has had a happy life. Chicks are like slaughtered every time you know. Egg production is pretty bad. Yeah, the quality of life is pretty bad. It's not good for the environment. So that's kind of what like leads me to not want to eat meat. And in that moment, I don't know, I'm not assuming that I'm hungry or like, yeah, I'm not like deficit mindset. I can probably go and get other food. I'm not like first gonna think like, oh, I need to slaughter this chicken and eat it.
Yeah.
Makes
Good.
sense.
That
I
adds
don't
up.
think that's a
Yeah.
good mindset to have.
Yeah.